Momentum. Two passionate and busy moms sharing their quest to achieve entrepreneurial success.
Momentum fans and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in.
Good morning. Good morning, Ariella.
Good morning, Theresa. We have been busy this week.
Yes, we have.
I want to start out just by talking about, I called Theresa the other night and told her I had all this stuff in my head and I had to see it. I had to visualize it. So I took some time, and actually this was really important for me to do just so I could see it. I took a time and I made a spreadsheet. Let me say that better. I made a spreadsheet with all the information that is in my head of the different projects, because I actually see quite a few projects in my mind I want to be working on now. Yeah. And it's hard to know, where to spend my time. So I created a list, and I'm proud of the name. It's My Upcoming Projects to Success, Joy, and Real Wealth. And I'm proud of myself for making that title, because I think part of it is, like this, remember The Secret, that the thought that you need to envision things or say things to believe them. And, I'm not going on that whole road, but there is something to that making something tangible, seeing it in writing.
And setting the mindset.
Yes. Seeing it in front of you, speaking it, believing it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did with this list. And there actually turned out to be on the main page, 24 projects, and all of them are just as valid as the other, this being one of them, one of the very important ones. Yes. And, so I listed out 24 different projects I want to work on, whether it is my other podcast, the Talented Magical Mommies Club, or there's a project I'm doing now called 52 Weeks to Your Best Singing Voice that I'm going to create on a subscription series, which I'm so excited about. But there's all these projects.
Yes.
And then what I did from that first page of just the list is I created each of them to link to their own page, and the huge list that is required on all of those pages. So if I even go on the one for Momentum here and I click on it, and this is just for some ideas for you guys on how to do this. And I think Theresa told me a much better way to do this.
No, but I think your way is fantastic, and I might have to copy some of that as well. You're going to have to teach me how to connect them from the main page to a different page, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so from the first page of the spreadsheet, I created tabs below that went to other pages. So for Momentum, I'm going to click on that because that is so awesome. And under Momentum, I'm just going to give you a few examples of what I wrote, because there's so many steps. It's like a ticket system of what we need to get done. So I just, in no particular order, because this is by no means a perfect list. So the first one was select podcast host, which I did. So then I wrote next to it Podbean, which we have affiliates below. Hopefully we'll figure out how to make money on that. So please click on it. Second, buy equipment. And I did, I bought a new interface for my computer. I have now 2 microphones, and we have these stands that are special for the table, so we feel like podcasters, right? So we don't have like those ones for singers.
We look really legit in this studio, by the way.
We look super legit, super legit. So, but that's actually part of it. Sometimes, you got to buy the outfit so you feel good. Yeah. It's the same thing. I wanted to give us the outfit as podcasters, so we don't feel like we're like rinky-dink in the bathroom trying to make a recording.
And Ariella is so good at this, you guys. I mean, we have some lighting around us. It's really awesome. Maybe we'll have to create a video in the future.
No, we will. We're definitely going to. But, we usually meet in the morning after we drop our kids off at school. So we're going to need a little notice, looks wise. But so I did that. And so I bought the equipment. Then we are going to be creating a worksheet or a workbook. And that's something we want to do. That might not happen right away, but it's on the list so we don't forget about it, right? We want to interview candidates. So I have a place for the names of the candidates, and we'll start putting dates for that. Do a logo. Ours is almost done. My son is doing it. Do the music for the intro. That is complete. My son did that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. He sang on it. I sang on it. It was awesome. Then look into sponsors and advertisers. We got to do that, Theresa, right?
Yes, I'll take that project.
Right, once everything is going, but that's a big one, Yes. And we can also put under that what steps we've taken. Like I've gone ahead and I've listened to the Podbean monetizing video. So that's a step 1 under that. Because we also talked about listing our achievements.
Right.
So as we see these things checked off, we don't erase them. We want to see that we did them.
Yes.
And that those are all achievements.
Yes.
What else we have? We have set up our Podbean page. We got to do that. The landing page for Momentum. And there's a web page for it. We need to figure out how to connect the Patron donations because people are going to be sending us so much money so we can keep doing this. And we've got to figure out how to distribute this out. And by the time you hear this, we will have done that.
Yes.
You know, to Spotify, Apple, all the places. I know Podbean allows for that.
There's a Facebook one now, which is, I think, newer.
Oh, yeah, there is. And there's YouTube as well. Then we want to create a calendar schedule for our recordings and releases, which we got to do that. We're going to have to re-record some intros for our first episodes where we just started talking like randomly, but you know, we're getting a little more professional. We're figuring that out. And then I went ahead and I made a list for each episode. So like episode 1, there's a list for the title. Have we recorded it? Have we done a rough edit? Have we done a final sweetening edit? Have we uploaded it? Did we write the episode notes? Have we added our links, our artwork? Or have we distributed? Have we done our social media? And then maybe announce in a newsletter. Yep. So I did that for each episode, but that's just one project.
Yes.
I have 24 projects with 24 pages of things that need to be done.
Wow.
But you know, once I did that, it was one of those things where I woke up at like 6 a.m. and the house was quiet and I could actually think.
Yeah.
It literally burst out of me and it just all came out like it was all stuck in there. Yeah. But once I got it out, then all of a sudden now I felt like, oh, now maybe I can go do the stuff because I won't keep thinking about what I need to do.
Yeah. No, you guys, Ariella is so creative. All 24 of your projects are amazing. And the world needs them. No, it's not hope I do them. You guys, this whole podcast came about from Ariella texting me, okay, we're recording on Thursday. I'm thinking this was going to happen in the future, but she's great at that. And creating this list is really important. I'm so glad you did that because unless you visualize it, there's so much going on in our heads. There's so much I have going on in my head as well, which is why one of my business mentors keeps reminding me about my business plan. And that is one way to go, creating the business plan first. But it's taking these big action steps that's so important because even if that business plan is not complete, which I have a draft, it needs to be fine-tuned, but rather than waiting until it's finished, I've done all these other steps. And by putting it in front of you in writing, it helps you keep your goals. It helps you become accountable, creating those to-dos for each day, each week, each month, each calendar year, in setting those long-term goals too, so that you keep moving towards them.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm so happy I did that. I feel so much better having done that. And now I feel clear. And the great thing is now every time I have an idea of something that needs to be done for one of those 24 things, I can just go put it down, but it's not in my head with the 7,000 things that needed to be done for the 24 things. Now, as I get an idea, I can add it in and I can feel more organized about it.
Yes. So 24 is a lot. I think I have 4 in my head.
They don't all have to happen at once, and some are not as big as others.
Right. But you know what, guys? Even, again, we're moms. So I was discussing some of my frustration with my son the other day. And even he's 16 now, but he even came up with a great idea for me. And because I was even feeling overwhelmed with the 4. And my son said, well, Mom, why don't you just do 2 each, like carve out that time for every 2 days, you focus on 1, and so just carving out the time to do specific ones and prioritizing and realizing which steps you need to take first, but making sure that you're taking those steps. Any step that you're making is moving you in the right direction.
But let's write those steps down that we do so that we see that we did them. So that when we feel like there's no way we can accomplish anything, we can look back and see everything we have done.
Yes.
And, I'm going to add to that is, so as, in the past I had some success at my line of CDs called Voice Lessons to Go. And I stopped for a couple of years. During COVID, I kind of just lost my interest in doing anything. I had 5 kids home. I don't know what else to say. And so I'm kind of revisiting everything. I'm like unlocking all these things I had because I've looked into a lot of the things. I'm not starting from scratch. I am for the podcast. But it's fascinating because, I used to have a newsletter. So I had to look up the password and look it up. And I see I have like 1,500 people that subscribe to it. That's a big deal, right?
That's a good
achieved
number.
That, but I kind of forgot. And I look back and I saw I had so many newsletters I had written. And then I looked at my blogs and I had to look at the back end of my old website. website and I looked at all the blogs I had, and so many letters that people have written me, and so many sales that I have made, and just kind of refreshing my mind on how all of this works. But I have achieved something.
Yes.
And
Yes.
those were all steps too.
Yes, they were. And to see what progress you've made in
Yeah.
the past
Yeah.
encourages me to, that's what we can do.
Yeah.
It helps move me forward too. And, and I saw Ariella's list, and it's amazing, and the way that you created the little tabs and everything. But then I started to feel like, well, how do I help her with some of these projects? And we are working on some of these projects
Yeah, we are.
together. So I had suggested Trello, and
Right.
that is a platform that we can use together to put these projects in so that we can both collaborate on them.
Yes.
And you can just either copy paste those things that you've already created into Trello, and we can then, or even just put your list, you can upload it into a section of there. So that can really help us be able to keep each other accountable and to know who's handling what on each project.
Yeah.
And then, click it, check it off. There's areas where we can assign each one of us
That's
to
awesome.
each task that
Yeah.
needs to be done.
Right.
But we're both on it, so we can both see it and we can see what progress is being made. So if we do need to encourage each other and continue to hold each other accountable, we can jump in and help. We can jump in and say, hey, what are we doing on this now? And so it's just a platform to really help collaborate with multiple people.
And as people start working for us,
yes.
we can easily share that with them.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So I went ahead and I watched a couple Trello tutorial videos, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I just haven't done it. It's just
Yeah.
another thing
Another
to
thing to
learn,
learn. Yep.
Theresa.
Yep.
But if it makes my life easier, then I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned in the last episode that you can put pictures in there and content and copy, so you can just pull from one place, and
Yep.
that's because a lot of times we're having to be like, where was that email? Where was
Yeah.
that file? And it really helps. I will say, like, I have on my desktop, one of my files just says voice lessons to go pictures, right? So every time I have a picture that I want to use for advertising, I just pop it in there. Start to create these things for yourself, whether it's Trello or files on your computer. Anything to make life easier so that you're not doing that search.
Yes.
Like, where was that email where I sent that thing? Like, even now I'm one of my projects is I have a book called Vocalize, which is the sheet music transcription of 4 of my voice lessons to go CDs. It's for teaching. It's like sheet music. And I want to make it into an ebook. But I got to find, originally it was created in some sort of computer format by somebody I hired, God knows how long ago, but I'm going to have to hunt that down. That file might just be available. I might just easily be able to turn it into an ebook.
Yeah.
But did I keep the information on that person and somewhere I can find it? No, I have 3 different emails I'm going to have to search for. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And I was going to suggest that too, because one of the episodes we were talking about the content that we have to create for our website, for our newsletters, for our emails, for all these things that we have to communicate to people. If we keep it all on even a Word document or something, a file saved in our computer, we can go reference that and pull it and then change some of the formatting or wording or whatever, but just continue to work on it there.
Yeah.
That really helped me when I was trying to launch my landing page and my GoFundMe account and all of
Yes.
that. I was able to pull from one document that I had majority of the information put down on.
yeah, so as mommies, we need time savers. And maybe it takes a little bit of time in the beginning to set that up. But if we do, I think we'll be really happy we have that set up.
Yeah.
So we're not hunting all the time. It's just, we can just go pull, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We really have to set aside the time that we need to be creative, to be able to set up these processes for us to be successful once we are able to move forward in business.
Yeah.
And, like you say, the time savers to be able to create some of these little cheat sheets and things that we need, but we do need to set aside that time. And, if it's an hour a day or 30 minutes in the morning, whatever, 30 minutes at night after we've put the kids to bed or made dinner, whatever it is, that we can just carve out a little bit of time to start to plan and be creative.
Yeah, and what are your time savers, audience? That's what I want to know. Let's do a post on that on our Facebook on Momentum Facebook page.
Yeah.
Because another time saver I have, on my YouTube videos, you have to write a description. Well, at a certain point, I wrote some sort of a description about myself and, the links to all my different Voice Lesson to Go products. And that part I would just cut and paste in every single new video I would make, but I would just add a small intro to that. But I always had that to cut and paste and put in. And I had a spot I kept that. What can we create for ourselves that we can do it one time and then we can source it again and again? And I'd love to know what our audience does, because I'm sure we could benefit from their ideas.
Absolutely. And the other thing that was just triggering my thoughts right now, you mentioned this wonderful, fabulous list that you have.
Yeah.
But the other thing I just saw recently was a campaign, a workshop that was created by this lady, and she created this fabulous list power intensive workbook that I was able to capture. And it's just a different way of thinking of things, because as I said, sometimes it's about building that business plan and moving forward in that direction. But what she talks about is kind of going on the back end. And if you build a product and you market it and you put it out there, unless you have the customers to buy it, you're not in business yet.
Right.
And if you go out and you find the customers, you build the list of contacts, you connect with them, you find out what they truly need. It may be a completely different product that you're creating based on what they truly need. So kind of working it on the back end is another way to think about it, and continue to build those lists of contacts that you have, whether it be in an Excel spreadsheet until you can get the system to build them into, until you can get the CRM to plug it all into. A CRM system may be something that you get later. A customer list system that is going to have all of your contacts in it.
Wait, what does that stand for? CRM. You you just something at me.
A CRM system is something that
C stands for
customers
are
great.
So you don't even know? I want to hear what the CRM stands for.
Okay, you threw me off. I do know what it is.
I
just don't
that
know it
I
off
threw
the
you
top
off.
of my
I
head.
had to do it.
But yes, a CRM system where all of your customers' database lives. And there's many of them out there. And a lot of these technology tools that we talk about, that we have to learn, they have some sort of database system that is already in there that you can continue to build on. But until you get that, start with an Excel spreadsheet and save it in the computer.
Yeah,
because
or
you will definitely need it down the road.
I just used a Google Doc, so because I didn't have Excel. CRM, it sounds like CRM stands for Customer Relationship
Management.
Yes,
I knew it.
or client relationship management. I'm not sure if it's one or the other.
It is a system of how you can manage your customers and how, see, again, this is how Ariella and I are so different. I come from more of a business world where CRMs are just the known technology, and I couldn't even remember what it stood for. I use it so often. But there's just a lot of great tips that we can share with you all. But until you have the money to buy a CRM, use your computer system.
Yeah, and if you can Google anything, which I just did while she was talking, but there's tons of stuff on CRM. It is a thing. She didn't make it up, so good job, Theresa. That's amazing. Yeah.
That's the thing. We live in a world of acronyms now where you just use it so much you forget what it even stands for.
So I wanted to respond, though, to what you just said about you just watched this seminar from this woman. And, Theresa's amazing at going out and getting educated from the smartest people who have done so many successful things, which is very helpful.
Yes.
But
Success leaves clues.
Yes. But I'm going to go, and say that, I didn't do that. What I did, I did the opposite. So I just want to say there's many ways to do something.
Yeah.
What I did was out of nowhere, I created, like I said, I think in my first episode, my Voice Lessons to Go, the first CD, I just kind of on a whim created it in my music studio, with no budget, and I had a product, and I knew somebody who happened to be a great artist, and he made great art for the front of it. And then I just started calling stores and saying, I have this product. And I was doing everything wrong, Theresa. I'm telling you, I was doing everything wrong. I didn't go through a publisher. I didn't know what I was doing. And I got it on Amazon, and I got it in Walmart, and I got it in all these places. Walmart online. Don't get all excited for me. I'm not a rich person. But I did have success with it. I sold a lot of them. But I started by starting with a product.
Yes.
So, I had no contacts. So you can go both ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it depends on what it is, what kind of business you're providing.
Oh, for sure.
You could be providing a service. You could be providing a product. It could be anything. There's so many things out there that we can all be creating. And maybe it doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah.
So that leads me to don't let people destroy your dream to tell you, oh, I don't know how you're going to do this.
That's right.
Don't you have to be qualified to create this? Don't you have to be a professional? The answer is no. If you have an idea in your head, go out and create it, build it, make it happen. Yeah. All of these steps that we're providing and these resources that we're providing you guys are all just tools to use, but you know in your head what it is that needs to be done. And whether it's, however it came to you, there's lots of different ways that we get inspired nowadays. Right. But if you have it in your heart to do, and it's something that's just pulling at your heart, feels like a calling, something that you just know the world could use, create it.
That's right. And nobody starts as a professional. Everybody has to start from something. I posted a thing on our Momentum Facebook page. It was a comedian doing something on Saturday Night Live, and I don't remember her name, but did you see the thing I did about Oprah? How Oprah was fired at age 23.
Oh my gosh.
And she makes a big joke about it. And the guy says, well, that was a mistake. And she says, no, she needed to be fired so she could become Oprah.
Yes.
And so even Oprah didn't start as a professional, right?
Yeah.
She was fired.
Yeah.
So I love those stories. I love hearing about people who made it after being fired or after being told no. Those things are so inspiring.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many stories out there, but look at Sylvester Stallone. He had an idea to create the movie Rocky. Number one, he had to get the movie sold.
He had to sell his dog to get the movie sold. He ended up getting him back.
Yes.
But that's
a great story. It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
But you know what? He not only did he have to get the movie idea out there and get that sold, then he had to sell himself as being the main actor.
Right, nobody wanted him.
And turning people away for saying no. And you have to take those bold actions. Now look at him. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine that movie being made by anyone else?
Right, absolutely.
It's just don't take no for an answer, and don't let people stop you from your dreams.
I think that's a good place to end. As good as any. Guys, have a great week. Go achieve stuff, mommies. Get your kids taken care of and go build
some momentum.
Build some momentum. Let's do it.
Momentum. Two passionate and busy moms sharing their quest to achieve entrepreneurial success.